Can you describe your initial feelings and expectations before you started your high rope session, please? So my first initial thoughts for high ropes was, I was feeling confident going into it. I was a little scared as well because I'd seen, we'd walked past one of the things and I saw it was quite high. So I was a little bit nervous, but I felt confident that I was going to be able to do it and make the leap of faith. What was the high ropes location like, and what were any key challenges you faced? The area was in the trees, surrounded by trees, like in sort of like some forest area. Very scenic. It looked very, well kept and reserved. Lots of room for nature to grow around it as well. There were lots of key challenges, especially when performing the high ropes actual activity. Getting the harness on proved to be quite difficult, as you had to tighten all the correct strings and tighten the correct things to then make sure you were safe. And the actual high rope jump was also difficult, as the climbing and getting onto the platform was very difficult. What surprised you most about high ropes? I think what surprised me most about high ropes was the fact that my classmates had to do the belaying, which is the skill that requires you to pull the rope through sort of the harness clip thing, so that whoever was climbing the big pole for the leap of faith stayed, safe and secure. What were the positive aspects and benefits that took place during high ropes? Well, during high ropes there were lots of benefits that I benefited from during the trip. For example, there are physical benefits, social benefits, and psychological benefits. Some physical benefits could involve it increased my muscular strength, as I was having to climb up the big pole, and grip strength as well, as there were these small sticks just sticking out of the tree where I had to cling on to them and really pull myself up. I also think my balance improved, as I was on top of the platform. I was standing up and it was shaking, so I had to stay complete balanced. I think some social benefits could be that the trust from me and my classmates, that we worked as a team and I was able to climb it, trusting them that they would keep the harness rope and straight and strong, so that I would be as safe as I possibly could. As well as that, it boosted morale. Everyone was supporting each other. There was all teamwork and everything. Everyone was working as a team. This means the relationships developed with me and my classmates, which meant there are some key social benefits. And finally, psychological benefits. It was an improved mental state. After completing the leap of faith, I was very happy, very confident with myself, very happy, as I thought I'd overcome a fear of being quite high, so heights, and I think my mental state was very positive once I had completed it. If you had to pick one moment in high ropes that stood out as beneficial, what would it be and why? I think if I had to pick one moment in high ropes that really stood out for me as a physical benefit, was the climbing up the pole itself and getting onto the top of the pole, as I had to use my muscular strength to really climb up that pole and really pull myself up, as it was very difficult. And then getting onto the platform, I had to really stretch my legs up and really cling on and pull myself up with lots of my strength. So, as I said, muscular strength and probably muscular endurance as well would have been improved, especially as I was climbing for a little while. But yeah. Compared to the other outdoor adventurous activities, what unique benefits did this have? I think compared to the other outdoor activities that I've completed, I think a lot of them increase with physical benefits for balance. However, I think this one, obviously it did help with my physical benefits for balance. However, I think high ropes is mainly for strength and the confidence and the overcoming fears part, especially because it requires a lot of strength to pull yourself up loads, and yeah, I think that's what's special and unique about it, is it mainly focuses on strength. Before coming into high ropes, I've had previous knowledge of taking part in some climbing exercises. For example, Go Ape. Go Ape is a great experience that I've done in my youth, and I feel like it gave me some knowledge of sort of similar aspects in which high ropes included. For example, when climbing through the trees and climbing through the obstacles, I think it gave me a sense of, I've done this before, I knew sort of what I was doing. As in, when I was climbing up, I knew I was going to be high, and I knew it was going to be a little bit wobbly. So yeah, and I think if there's any specific techniques that I learned today that were really beneficial, or when I was completing high ropes, I think it was the belaying, and really pulling the rope through the different hooks and like clips, so that my classmates stayed safe when completing the activity. I think that was one of the best techniques I learned today. Another technique I learned was managing and attempting to get onto the small wooden platform on top of the big tree trunk pole, as it required a lot of balance to complete. I had to pull the rope that I was attached to round to the front of the platform where I was, and I had to really reach my arms over the top and pull my legs up to get my knees on first, and then from my knees start standing up slowly. I think that was a really challenging technique, but as I'd learned it and they'd explained how to do it before, I felt like I was ready and confident to complete this, which allowed me to overcome my fear and actually improve generally at this activity. To learn that technique, I really had to listen out for the instructions from the instructor, as they were just trying to keep all of us safe and secure when completing the activity. So they just gave me the correct knowledge, and so I applied that into the high ropes activity that I completed. I think it's really important that we needed to stay safe on this activity, as the safety, obviously, if you're not attached and you're not attached properly, then you could fall and you could really severely injure yourself, and I think that's never a good thing. So everyone needed to be listening to what the instructor was saying, so we could all stay safe and complete the activities properly, because if we didn't complete the activities properly, then we could have hurt ourselves. And so luckily everyone was listening of how to belay the lines or climb up the pole and then move the rope round and get on the platform. So we all knew what to do. I used decision making in my high ropes activity, and when I was at the top of the platform, I had to decide how close I was going to step to the edge to give me the best chance of reaching the rope. I also had to decide as I was climbing up if I was going to, when I was climbing up, deciding where my hand was going to go and where I was going to plant my foot. So I had to make sure I made the right decision there, otherwise my foot could slip or my hand could slip and there wouldn't be I'd just fall down. Obviously I'd fall down safely as I'd be connected to the rope, but so I had to decide properly there. These new skills that I've learned could help me in the real world as well, as I was able to make decisions under quite high pressure, as I was being cheered on by my classmates to jump for the thing, so I was being cheered on a lot, and it's allowed me to make perfect decisions under pressure and confident decisions, which I could transfer into my everyday life. I don't think there was any unexpected situations during my high rope session which allowed me to feel a bit scared or unsafe. However, when I was at the top of the platform and standing up, I put one foot on and it started to really wobble, and so I had to go back down to my knees, as fear overcame me there for a second. However, I gained my confidence and motivation back, especially from the help of my classmates cheering me on. So I got both feet on and I jumped for the bar and I reached the bar. That is one thing that was a little bit unexpected, that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting just to get up there and do it, so maybe I was a little bit overconfident, but I managed to complete it perfectly. Looking back on this high ropes experience, I think the most impactful thing that I learnt was when just not to be overconfident, but just never give up. Even when you get up there and you think you're not going to make it, just never give up. Always listen out for those cheers and confidence, and really motivate yourself to, complete the challenge ahead. I would recommend this to my companions and my classmates and my friends to give it a go, as it was really fun. When I was doing the different and various challenges, especially learning the new techniques, that was really good, I thought. So I think that was very useful and helpful. But yeah, all in all, I would recommend. I think it was a really good fun experience. Everyone was supportive and everyone was encouraging, and I think that's what you need. I think because it helped with my maybe a little bit fear of heights a little bit, I think it would be I could continue it and maybe try it again at some point, as it was quite fun and enjoyable. Yeah, and I think I'd love to do it again and maybe try something sort of similar but different. But I think, yeah, it really improved my confidence when dealing with higher range activities.